Okay, so today the question is, what is ethics? Um, and forgive me, I'm going to walk around a little bit because I'm in quarantine, and so I can only really walk around my house. And I'm going to do it because Plato and Aristotle did it when they were trying to figure out these issues. So, ethics is basically the approach to art and writing and conversation and anything else that is communication or the use of symbols in a way that makes it a tool. Now, that's probably not the definition that you're used to if you looked ethics up in a dictionary and it said something like the study of right and wrong. Um, and the reason it's that I'm giving a different definition of it is because I think when you talk in general about the study of right and wrong, it doesn't really make clear why ethics is a specific academic discipline or all the things that it can include. It doesn't just include philosophy. We're going to spend time reading poetry and talking about the ethics of poetry. And it's also not always clear when you talk about ethics what makes it different from morality. I'm not going to get into that either because I think that a lot of it is a difference of connotation in the different feeling that people have when they talk about ethics versus morality. And in some ways, they are interchangeable terms. But what really the essence of ethical practice is trying to open up new moments where the way that you think or behave is altered by something that you've read or something that you've heard or something that you've seen. That doesn't mean that it has to always be a deliberate work of art that we're talking about or a deliberate work of philosophy, because, certainly you can see an otter do something or a person on the street do something and have an ethical moment where your idea about how to live changes. So it's not even something that has to be intentional on the part of the actor. But for you, it becomes symbolic of a certain value that you have and that you want to express. And the study of ethics is really about opening up new ways of acting according to your values and actually finding new moments where your values are in play, where you can somehow apply them that you didn't realize before, or that you change the way that you apply them. And there's nothing particularly simple about that process. So, ethical rules that we grow up with, like the golden rule, always do unto others as you would have them do unto you. When you get into serious ethical discussions, turn out to be very complicated. And the way that you would apply them, even if you think that they're sort of deeply true, can be hard to figure out or even totally counterintuitive. But the essence of ethical exploration is trying to find a moment that you perceived one way or that you simply couldn't find any sense of right and wrong in naturally, and discovering that it is an opportunity to do something, that accords with what you believe. And what you'll find as you study ethics is that the areas of concentration are different for each person. What each person thinks is of like primary ethical importance really varies. And so whole areas of exploration, like whether or not what you eat is an ethical decision, or whether or not um, the way that you treat your distant neighbor is an ethical decision. Um, it's not that any of those things are or are not grounds for ethical exploration, because actually it turns out that they all are. Rather, it's a question for you of what you want to focus on. And that will be the question that I kind of return to again and again in the course of this class.